Excellent. Hello everyone. Okay. So in previous videos, we have seen how to create this list view from the API, from this API. Okay. Currently we have implemented get all API and then post API. These two we have created and we have to implement another three APIs, which that is uh, get API, put API, which is update API, and then the delete API, right? So these three we have to implement. And in this video, what we are going to see, we have to create a new screen where it will display all the it will display the user detail from the by based on the ID. Okay, if you look on this one, I have a user ID where I can select and give it and I get the user detail. So there is no detail found. Okay. So I take here. Okay. And then I'll go for 10. 10 is also not available. 25. Let's say yes. So we have a user ID which is 25. Correct. So this data we have to display it in the new screen. So this is what we are going to create. Create a new screen. We will provide a privilege to edit and delete options on this on that screen. Okay, in that we will be implementing these two APIs. So the first part will be this one, and then these two are the second. So in this video, we will see how to integrate this part, right? Using a Riverpod state management tool. Okay, first of all, I have a sample application which is running now. Okay, so if I click on it, click on this one, nothing is happening. So we have to click this one and to create a new page where it will display the user details. Okay, that's fine. So for that, what I will do, um, I'll go and create a new screen. Okay, which is called user view screen, right? I'm going to create a new user view screen. Dot, dot. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just create a stateless widget and I will name it as user view screen. Okay, and for now, what I will do, I'll just minimize this one because when we require that time, we will take it from there. Okay, so this is fine. So what I will do, I'll just go here and yeah. So basically, we are going to create this safe area child scaffold, which having that app bar title. We will make mention as the user, right? This is going to be a widget, correct? So we have to provide a text widget, and then this is going to be user. Later we will provide our the actual implementation, what is required. So this is fine. The bar, and this is going to be constant. Okay, this is great. Then the body message will be uh, Okay, so we have to design the single scroll view, single child scroll view. Okay, so here we'll provide one child, and that is going to be, for now let's make it as a text. User details, and we'll provide as a constant so that it won't show up that issues. This might be here also as well as constant, I guess, right? I think we can remove it here. So later on we will fix that one. That's fine. Okay, the next stage what we have to do is to the next stage what we have to do is like we have to define the routes, right? So in previous screens we have created this route, right? So in this route we have to mention it from here on the stateless widget. Just make it as a route, a user view, VI view, right? User view. So once we created this view, we need to mention it like uh, we need the user ID, right? So that user ID is going to be our incoming ID. Whatever, if we select this user, we have to pass this user ID to that screen, and from that value we have to pull the data from the API and display that information from the API. So to do that, what we'll do, we have to define uh, the route first. Okay, so let's go to the main dot. Here we already have this two routes. We will go and create a new route, user view screen dot route name, and then this is its ctx constant user view screen. Okay, so here what we need to do, we have to send the uh, argument from wherever we call it as, right? So what we have to do, we have to define one object, final uh, user object. So obviously we will get one data, right? So that is what we are going to create it. So in this and that is going to be a object. It can be a null. Sometimes if we pass it as null, then it might be a null value. So we can make it as non-null as well. But for now, let it be there. Let it be as a null. We can implement it. And then we have to assign this value required this dot user object, user object. So we directly assign to this one, right? So and we have assigned it. So what was the problem? I think this one is the problem. Yeah, correct. So rectified it. Then in the main.dot file, we have to mention that user object. User object. Then it has to come from the model.route, right? Model route dot of context ctx. It can be null. settings dot arguments. So these arguments we have to pass it. So this it is a null check. So we provide because sometimes this settings can be a null. That's why the model route can be a null. That's why we provided it here. And this is not a dynamic one because this is a dynamic one, so it can change the value. So we remove that constant from here. So we set up this one, so we can invoke and we can see it there and the values, right? So I'll go to that listing user list screen where I click on this card. Yeah, I have list card here. So in this one, if I click on that, I have to I can in this list I can if I click on the list, it will redirect me the uh, new screen, right? So what I will do here, I just go and create a new widget, right? uh, Called, okay, let me create the new one, gesture detector. Okay, and make it this one, gesture detector, and make it as a child. Okay, so this is fine for now. And for the gesture detector, it has a on tap tap, double tap, all these click events will be there, right? So if I whenever I click on it, I have to navigate, right? So that route we already mentioned over there. So here what I'll do, I'll just use the navigator dot of context dot pushed push name, and the route name will be the user view screen dot route name, and the argument what we have to pass, arguments will be the username, right? The username ID. Here we have that user, right? This username dot ID dot to string, sorry, to string. That's it. So these arguments is automatically sent from this, right? This is what we have defined it. And here we have to in that user view form, we have to receive this user object and we have to display it. Okay, let's see whether we are able to navigate to the new screen or not. Yeah, so we are successfully able to navigate it. Okay, the next stage what we have to do is we have to go to that view screen. In this screen, we have to design that we have to design the values, right? So the first stage what we do, we have this object, right? Let's say whether we get this value or not, right? So what I will do, where user ID, I know that I am passing the user ID from the previous screen, so it is an integer value, and integer value, and I mark it as a string and provide it to this user object, right? So I receive this user object and to string, object to string, right? So what I will do, I'll just come here and I just print it to string so that I can see that value is coming correctly or not, right? So I just go back, I click on it, and I can see the value is static. Hope we can see that value. Okay, so this is fine for now. So the next stage will be we are going to have the providers. So single child provider. So previously we created submit one, right, and we have the change notifier and everything is there. So now we have to create a single user provider, right? So we are going to make a feature provider for this case. Okay. So what I will name it here, the same work I am going to do it here as well. And we go and see that repository what we have. Okay. So in the repository we have a list create. Okay. These two we have currently. So we need to create um, one more user list, right? So just I took this one and make it as uh, fetch single user by ID. That's it. So I'm going to pass the value. So I'm going to pass the user ID integer. So the integer value I'm going to pass it, right? So this is fine. Or we can make it get user by ID so that it will be matched, right? Okay, it's okay. So we have to implement this one in that portion. Okay. So by the same way, what we have done it here, the same method we have to do it. So for the the same method, just pass this value and we have to do that. So I'm just taking this value and then I just go and put it here. Get user by ID, and I'm going to receive one integer value that is called user ID, and in that user ID, this user ID, I'm just mention this ID to string. That's it. To string. Okay, so just rename that values, make it to URL so that it will be unique for everything. Okay, so just make it here, and I'll get the user response. Okay, so everything remains same. Just only one portion, that is we have to pass that ID. That's it, the ID to that place. So we created this method and we go to the provider. Okay, the similar way the feature list we created, right? The same way we are going to do it, and here what I do, I'll just make it as a single user provider. That's it. So here I'll make it as in that in this we have a family option where we can provide our the input. There is one input user ID input we have to receive, right? That user ID we can provide it here, and we can take it in this function as a user ID so that it will be received. So this is the way we can use it here, and we can make it as read. Okay, this user, and we can say it as get user by ID, and that we will pass that user ID. Whatever we get the value from that integer, and we'll just pass it, and we will be getting this value, right? It is as auto disposable. That's it. We prepare the same structure what we have followed in this feature list. We done it for here, right? So here it is fine. So we created the provider part of this particular thing, and then we will go to the user view form. Here we have to create our our the method, right? The method we have to create it, and here we already have this user ID, right? So this user ID we have to read it. So for that, what we have to do, we have to make this one as a consumer widget, so that we can use that Flutter Riverpod. Okay. Once we provided here, we have to use the widget reference, right? From that reference, we will be getting all our values, provider data will be there, all the state related information will be there. Final single user, right? So we will take from the reference and we will watch the values, and we will have to provide a single user provider, and we have to pass this ID to this provider. That's it. So what will happen? This will send the values to that place wherever the new user ID is coming. We can directly pass it to the value, and the API will go to the API, and the response will come back, and we can get it from this place, right? So here we have to display the single user, right? Informations. So what I will do, I'll just go and comment this part, and I will make it here. Um, Single user dot when, so when the data is there, we have to do our functionalities, right? So this part, and this one, and this part, so these three we have to implement it. Okay, let's do that implementation right now, and we can go and refer this part, exactly same what we have done it from this place. So I took these two lines, the circular bar and everything. So I just make it here. The only part what I have to do in this place is this one, right? This data we have to implement it, right? So what I will do, in the data what I receive is the user, right? The user I'm going to receive it, right? So the user I'm going to receive it, and what I will do, I'm going to have my card. I'm going to create a new card, right? So return card, so that we can design our data in it, right? So here I'll make it as a list title. Okay, I'll make it as title, and the text. What is the text? Here I can provide the user dot data dot full name and dot to string. And this is sometime it can be a null. We can see that it is sometime it can be a null. So what I will do, I'll just make it as a null city, and I provide subtitle, and here I make it as a mobile number, right? These two is right now is ready. Let's say, yeah, here it is there. So if I select any of that, and it will load the data, okay, whatever we selected here. So we successfully loaded here. This is fine. So in the next video, what we are going to do, we are going to design edit and delete button, and in that we will call the values. We have to fill that form. Okay, we have to fill this form with that values. whatever values we populated, we have to fill it here and make this form updatable, and we'll perform it. And for the delete operation, we directly click on it and remove and come back to that page. So these things we'll look on it in the next screen. So thanks everyone. Thanks for watching this video, and I request you please to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends, to support me to provide more videos on the Riverpod and state management related stuff. So I'm putting my effort to bring these tutorials live, which is a real-time project. So wherever you need to work on the real-time projects on your organization, so these are very much important. Okay, so kindly support me to do more videos on this. So to support, uh, I need subscription to subscribe to the channel. So thanks everyone. All the best. Bye.